How this works. I have to edit this. Okay. Now we're editing the title. I'm pasting it in, and I don't want this. Gosh, I hate this. I hate this. Okay, now I'm putting it back, and now we're going live. I think we're okay. Okay, we're gonna fall down. No, I think we're okay. Oh, look at this. Oh wow, okay, and now we're on full screen. Let me just do this a little bit. Sorry about that. Yeah, now you're talking. Now we're back. Hi everybody, MJ here. Wow, it's been a while. I've been feeling kind of sick, and I want to give you an update on what's been going on and why I have been feeling sick. It really started on my trip to Florida. But I do want to say, let me do this. I'm going to go back off of full screen mode just for a second. I want to see if I got any actual viewers yet. Wow, we got a 3500K BPS signal at 29 frames a second. Bernardo, how you doing? All right, good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so we got Bernardo's joined us here. And that's great. Hey Bernardo, I got some eggs. All right. And oh, you know what? It's David Osaka. There you go. The letters are blue. It's hard for me to see who it is. That's David Osaka. Nice to see you, Dave. I'm at T's place. I'm in the small room, the small karaoke room. Which, Dave, when you come to Taiwan, we're going to bring you to the small karaoke room. I got some eggs here. Cooked by T's lady chef, and she put cilantro on it. Excuse me, I gotta get the tissues. Oh, they're over here. You guys, do you want to see the eggs? That's a stupid question, isn't it? That's what they look like, with plenty of Vietnam black pepper, cilantro garnish. That's it. And soy sauce on them. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? That's the deal. Yep, yum, yum. That's the real deal. And who is that? That is, I can't see who that is. Oh, this is going to drive me nuts. It's Rob Ebner. I can't deal with the blue. I gotta talk to Streamlabs about that. I'd like to be able to set that color and leave it. I can't see who that is. Okay. It sounds funny, but if I put my hand or something, there you go. If I put something white in that corner, for me it's on that corner, then I can see. Now what I did was I got some real genuine organic Ceylon cinnamon, the real thing, not the cassia like I usually drink. And you know, when the scopers come here and they drink it, it's usually cassia. I went and got some from the United States and shipped it here to Taiwan, and it is incredible. Mark, how are you? Nice to see you. I can see you today. How are you doing? And you know, I don't need as much of the spice in the rum to taste it. It's fantastic. I also put a couple pieces of like 99%, I guess it's pronounced Keiko or Kako, I'm not sure. I put some chocolate pieces in there. They haven't melted yet, but they're gonna melt over the next day or two. But look at this color. See, it's not quite as dark red, it's a light red, but this is actually less cinnamon than I normally would put in the bottle, you know, in the filter. Yeah, cacao, I guess is that how you say it? I don't know. Keiko is a Japanese woman's name, but cacao, I think, is how you say that. So here we got the eggs, and let me tell you what's going on. Okay, cacao, I guess. Anyway, That's 99%. I put in there, it's got to melt. It doesn't melt in alcohol very easily. Now, you guys know that I went to America recently, last month. And I went to get some medical tests. And when I got there, I got a shock. I've talked a little bit about this, but I want to tell you everything. I want to tell you the follow-up. My blood pressure was extremely high. It was about 165 over 120. Now the bottom number, the diastolic number, is actually more important. If the top number is high, that's bad. But if the bottom number is high, that's really bad, because that means that that's the pressure between the beats of the heart. See, the top number is the pressure when your heart's beating, okay? When your heart beats and it exerts that pump pressure. But the bottom number on the blood pressure reading is the number, that's the pressure in the blood vessel between the heartbeats. And if that's really high, then baby, you got high blood pressure. And 120 is a medical emergency. That, like, you should be in the hospital. They should be giving you like an IV, a liquid beta blocker to bring your heart rate down. See, the problem was my heart rate was extremely high. When I was at Dr. Sears, my heart rate was about 110. It is high, yes. It was about 110. I have a problem, as you guys know, I have a problem with elevated heart rate. It's a form of tachycardia. And for years I was taking a beta blocker, but then I got off the beta blocker because I was actually doing a lot better. But now, for some reason, the stress of the travel, I guess, because let's face it, I'm over 60. I have to admit I'm not, 30 years old anymore. Anyway, I'm worried about it and I'm worried about it. Yes, it could be. It could be. So I went back and I saw my doctor. Okay, beat you to it. Sorry about that. I'll try to talk slower. Probably, I'm going to say, and plus the fact that, my flights were canceled and I ended up sleeping in the airport, in the terminal. Not only that, but I went to eat something and I hadn't had Tex-Mex in, gosh, I don't know how many years, a decade. I ate some rice and some beans and then I realized I shouldn't have done that. It was all carbohydrates, and that really didn't do my system any good either. I came back to Taiwan and I saw my doctor. The same doctor that I've been seeing for 10 years. He's really, really nice. His name is Dr. Pong, and his English is brilliant. His English is just like us. He can sit here in this room and keep up with us, no problem with English. And Dr. Pong said, "What happened to you? I've been taking your blood pressure all these years. You don't have high blood pressure." He's always said that. I went in to a hospital for 2 days in Taiwan 2 years ago for a test on my heart. And the guy released me, said, "There's nothing wrong with your heart. You don't have high blood pressure." So 2 years ago, they told me I didn't have high blood pressure. Well, he measured my blood pressure, and it was skyrocketed. But my heart rate was 120. So he gave me the beta blocker, and my heart slowed down, and with it, my vital signs went down too. I mean, my blood pressure. And so the good news is I went to see my doctor on Tuesday. Now today is Thursday in Taiwan. So 2 days ago, I went to see my doctor. And, I parked my car in the parking lot. I walked to his office. I sat in his office for 10 minutes. Then I went in and I took my blood pressure, and it was 120 over 76. That's really good. For me to not really be resting or laying down or going to bed or anything, just having come from the parking lot, and I'm 62 years old, that's darn good. And my heart rate was down. So for the time being, I'm going to be on the beta blocker a little bit. So it was really hard for me because I was trying to qualify, why you guys know I take these supplements and I try to take care of myself and I do exercise. Like tonight, I was on my exercise bike. I had my heart rate up to 164, and that's already higher than what that stupid, 220 minus your age is. That's ridiculous. Don't go by that 220 minus your age. That'll put you in the grave. Your heart rate can go as high as it wants to when you're exercising and you're under control. I kept thinking, what happened to me? Why do I have high blood pressure, and what's going to happen, and blah, blah, blah. Am I going to be on these medications? And it turns out this week, doctors around the world recognize that there are 2 widely used blood pressure medications that kill people. Did you guys read about that? These eggs are good. I saw that on the BBC News, and I was thinking, wow, I'm so glad that I don't have high blood pressure and I'm stuck taking that medicine. So anyway, did you guys hear about that? Did you hear? No comments, guys, no comments. I know you're listening, but did you hear about that with on the news that the 2 very widely, there's some kind of channel blockers, calcium channel blockers, I think, what they're called. Don't hold me to it, but Henry will know what they are because Henry's a nurse. And there are 2 common blood pressure medications that now have been known to have deadly consequences. You have to look them up. Just do a search on it. It's been in the news this week. BBC carried it, and they talk about it. Even Dr. Sears says if you can avoid it, you got knocked out. What happened? That's weird. Well, I didn't do it. Rob, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make you a moderator. Okay. And Mark, I'm going to check. Yeah, I'm going to make sure you're a moderator too. I know you want to know which medicine it is. I just don't remember. I was just thankful that I wasn't taking it. But there's 2 common blood pressure medications now that doctors are recommending that people do not take because they can cause death. Boy, these eggs are beautiful. Eggs in Asia, they look a little different than they did in the States. The yolks are really, really dark yellow. It's pretty interesting. I noticed that right away. First time I had eggs in Asia, I noticed that the yolks were really, really dark yellow. And that's cool. Now, Mark, how are you doing? And how's the hand? How's the finger coming along? And I know it's, I know you had to postpone your trip. We're hoping you can come to Taiwan, and we're hoping we can meet up and you can hang out here and get an update. That would be nice to get an update in person. It'd be really nice to meet you. So how's everything going with you with regard to that? Now the other thing is, so I'm drinking tonight, but I've been cutting down a lot. I've been cutting down ever since since right before I went to Florida. I've cut my drinking in about half. And what I'm doing is I'm drinking more scotch, which means I'm just sipping, I like to explore scotches. I like to do research about different scotches, find the ones that are really intense, have a lot of flavor. I like to go chase down the bottle and buy them, so when you're drinking scotch, you don't throw it back, you sip it. So excellent. Mark, if you don't mind saying, I don't know if it's embarrassing, and please pardon me if I embarrass you, but where did the skin graft come from? They took it from another part of your body, right? If you don't mind saying, I mean, where did the skin graft come from? And that's what I always wonder about when you got to do skin grafts. The doctor's really great. He says, hey, you know, we got to do a skin graft and everything will be fine. So, really, yeah, we're going to cut your nose off. We're going to use that. I mean, that's what always scares me. Is that the skin graft part, taking the graft is going to be worse than, you know, than the injury. Upper arm inside the bicep. Okay. That must have hurt. Wow. So now you got like a big strop that's missing, and that's going to fill in the scar tissue. But man, that must have hurt. Holy cow. I know sometimes they take them from the hips, the buttocks, the leg. I've heard it, you know, those places. I just don't know. But hopefully, you know, thinking about the size of the finger, I mean, I'm no expert, but hopefully they didn't need like a huge piece, and you don't have a big cross section. Man, that's I don't know. Wow, what an unfortunate thing. We're really sorry to hear that happened to you. You know, I shudder sometimes when I think about that, because yeah, as bad as it is, it could have been a lot worse. You could have had your whole hand in there, you know. And from when you were describing it, it's like you didn't even know it happened. So, it did, yeah. A nasty scar is there now, yep. I hear you. Well, you know what'll happen. You're going to be in a bar some night, and you're going to be able to make up a really cool story about that's like a shark bite or something, you know. And you stuck your arm inside the shark's mouth and you clawed the inside of his mouth to let you go, and he finally spit you out, that kind of stuff. So you got to have that kind of cred. Yeah, I bet that did hurt. You know, Mark, from what you were saying, right, it sounds to me, I mean, I don't know, but how you described the original injury, it sounds to me like the skin graft probably hurt you more than the original injury. Is that right? Because when I was reading that, when you were describing, you know, the original injury in the late night group, I mean, you should have seen my face. I was like, and it was tickling for trout, and a pike grabbed my finger. You know what you can do? I got a better one. Tell your friends that you went to America and you went to the deep south and you were noodling. You know, that's where they put their fingers, their hands inside the catfish mouth. You know what I'm talking about. They're looking for catfish holes down in the bayou, right? They're wading around and the water's like, you know, chest height, and they reach into the catfish hole, and then the catfish latches onto their hand. That's the story that you want to tell. That's what you want to tell. You were noodling. But the thing that impressed me about the way that I recall you were telling the story, that it really didn't hurt that much, and it's like almost you didn't realize that something was wrong until you saw it, you know. So I was like, wow, this guy's got nerves of steel. Because, you know, oh my goodness, injection into the bone. Holy cow. Okay, I hear you. Well, you know, I'm a guitar player, and guitar players are wimpy about our fingers. You know, I get a hangnail on, you know, so better man than me. Oh my goodness. One of the most painful things I've ever had was I've had 3 epidural shots because I ruptured a disc, L5S1, right? Thank you. I ruptured a disc, L5S1, and the last, they give you the epidural, to numb the, the area near the rupture, because the disc gets squished, and the nucleosis squirts out and touches the nerve. And oh, stop it. Okay, they'd be injecting one finger, but your other finger would be right, reaching around behind the nurses, grabbing them. I know you. So the discus nucleosis touches, it's like pouring sand in your eyeball. It's ridiculously painful. And so they shoot the epidural area with stuff. It's kind of like, they told me it was kind of like the consistency of toothpaste. They're trying to put it in the epidural space, right? And the problem is they miss. Now, when I'm under extreme pain, under this kind of duress, and Mark, maybe you can comment on this too. I would like to know if this happens to you. But when I'm in a lot of pain and under duress, a very dark kind of humor comes out. I have been known to crack jokes under, extreme pain and procedures that are happening. It's kind of weird. And the doctors tell me that's perfectly normal. A lot of people do that. But she lined up, the doctor that was going to do the epidural lined up seven syringes, because if they miss, then they have to take it out and they have to put it down and take a new sterile one. They can't put it back in. Yes, okay. You understand what I'm saying. Tell us about that. Go ahead. I'd like to hear what happened. Well, she missed the epidural space, and I asked her how big is it? She said it's about 2 to 3 millimeters. And I said, well, how big is the needle? She said, well, it's a 0.5 millimeter. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So she's trying to hit a, space this big. And she apparently hit me in the spinal column. And she said to me, Mr. Klein, are you in pain? And I said, why are you asking? Is it because my ass is a foot off the gurney? And she immediately pulled it out. And and sweat just was beating down my face. Because you know how it is, when you're in a lot of pain, a lot of times you sweat. And I told her, and I immediately, doctor, I apologize. I'm sorry. And she said, no. That let me know what I needed to know, that I'd hit the wrong space. And on the seventh needle, she got it. And I immediately felt relief as soon as she released the toothpaste thick material into that space. But I had to endure 7 needles going in the wrong direction. And that one that hit me on the spinal column, there's nothing like being sick. Hey, Mike, how are you? There's nothing like being sick and having stuff wrong. Sometimes you don't care if you make it or not. You just want the pain to stop, Mr. Matt Dillon, how are you? Marshall Matt Dillon, how you doing? Mark, I'm going to check you again. I want to make you a moderator. Okay, I want to make sure that you're a moderator. Glad to have you here with us. Yeah, Mark, if you've got any little anecdote you could share with us. And the doctor, right? The doctor said in his best Inspector Clouseau, not anymore, right? You're not attached to it anymore. Oh, that was so funny. That was hilarious. Oh. That is a priceless Steinway, not anymore. Peter Sellers, one of the greats. Mark, when these things happen, you've got to, you just got to laugh about it. They're advertising live chat replay on YouTube. Yes, they are. But I'm not using the YouTube app. So I don't know if that's actually going to work for me. I'm using Streamlabs because I want the chat burned, you know, on the stream. See, otherwise it's like YouTube or it's like Facebook. I don't want people to have to divert their eyes away from the video stream to read the chat. I think it's a lot less intrusive if they can read the chat on the video stream. I mean, that's the one thing that Periscope has got right. Periscope taught everybody else how to do it, you know. I mean, Ustream was around for a long time, so. Oh my goodness. Do you want me to give you that is so funny. That is so funny. So who just joined? Who just joined? Oh, that's Coco. Coco, how are you? Coco, let me check and make sure that you're a moderator. Okay. Coco, nice to see you. Nice to see you. All right, let me go down. Hang on a second. I gotta go back here. Okay, we're gonna go full screen. Thank you. Coco, nice to see you. Sorry, I'm just goofing around with the screen here for a second. So yeah, Mark understands because when you're under extreme duress, and I understand, I've never been on the battlefield, but I understand that happens on the battlefield too with soldiers, that they do sometimes let loose with some pretty bizarre humor. And you know, it's the mind. The mind is trying to cope. The mind is trying its best to cope with something that's difficult for it to cope with. Coco, how are you? And I want to say I really, really like your latest profile picture, but I know you said in the late night group that you combed out your dreadlocks, but I want to know how long that took. That must have taken about 10 hours, didn't it? I mean, wow. First I didn't recognize you. But it must have taken about 10 hours. That's my guess. But I know some ladies in my neighborhood used to plait their hair, and I would ask them how long that took, and just plaiting the hair they said it would take 8 or 10 hours, depending on how long it was and everything. But I thought that was pretty cool. I always thought that looked really neat, really interesting, and get really creative and put beads and stuff in. Of course, I'm a guy; I don't know anything about that, but you know, it's pretty interesting. I just liked how it looks, so. And I know I can't do it with my hair; it's not long enough. Anyway, for those of you who just joined, oh, that's okay. We understand. Made new accounts. Yep. Gotten kicked out. Kicked out of what? It took longer than that? Oh, holy cow. What'd you do, like half of it and go to bed? Then wake up the next day and do the other half? Holy cow, was it a 2-day, wow. Talk about a project. Would you tell your husband you weren't going to see him for a couple days? My goodness, wow, that's a lot. Whew. Several weeks, wow. Holy cow, man, oh man, I can't imagine that. So wow, okay. But I'm sure, you know, you got some way to put it up or, you know, fix it so that when it doesn't, you know, when it's halfway one way and halfway the other way, it still looks okay. Group chat. Yeah, well, you know, Coco's in the late night group under her new username. I'll tell you who got kicked out was Mike, Psoriasis channel. Mike Rundgren. I don't know why. I have tried to add him like 10 times back into the group, and it always says user can't be added, and I'm at a loss. I don't know. I'm all done. Can't figure it out. If anybody has a recommendation for a better app that we can use for chatting for the late night group, I'm all ears. Okay. Oh, I see. All right. Well, you know, if anybody has a recommendation, I'm absolutely open to it. Like a couple people talk about Telegram. Telegram seems good. Eric uses Telegram, and I've connected with several people on Line, Line, all capital letters. I've connected with some people on WhatsApp. I know that Rob Ebner doesn't like to use Line because it's a one device system, and I understand that. He wants to use multiple devices. I understand that. WhatsApp is not. FaceGroup works, yes, but you have to use Facebook. I hate Facebook. I'm sorry. That's like, I got to draw the line. I call it invasebook. It is so absolutely invasive. And if you've been reading the news lately, Facebook is doing some creepy spying stuff on people. Creepy stuff. I just, that new app Vero seems okay, but you know, it's just a replacement for Instagram, and Instagram has live chat too, you know, or direct chat too. So I don't know. I guess for now we're going to use Twitter, but Google Hangouts, that works. I don't think so. I do not believe that I can find, well actually, all right, here's a good question. Everybody I've connected to on WhatsApp has been a person that I've already known their phone number, because I use the phone number to connect to WhatsApp. So I don't know. I know that Line, Line, all capital letters, Naver, Naver, Naver Line, allows you to search on the username or the phone number. If you don't know the person's phone number, you can search on their username, and that's fine. That's okay. But again, it's a one device system. Of course, for me, I only use it on one device. I have a tablet, but I don't use Twitter on my tablet. I use my tablet for other things. I use my tablet mostly for research, for other things, and for reading, and for things like booking trips and that kind of stuff. So, okay, all right, we can do that. Well, let me ask you this question, Rob. If we use Line, is that gonna put you out? I mean, is that gonna put you off from, you know? I know you don't contribute that much to the group, but I know you read the mail a lot. But when you do contribute, it's very useful. It's good. We like it. We like hearing from you. We like you in the group. And I know you're silent most of the time, but that's okay too, because not everybody's, you know, chatting every second, right? Sometimes I go a couple days without anything, so okay, all right, that's cool. Well, the reason that I like Line is because it allows you to do all kinds of things like share locations, you can share notes, and you can do, you know, share photos and videos and stuff like that. It does like pretty much everything that I really would like to do in a chat app, but it's not really invasive. The only thing is that it does, I mean, you can do timelines, and it does do news, and like in my case, because I'm in Taiwan, the news is all in Chinese, but where you guys are, you know, other parts of the world, it would be in English or whatever, you know, the national languages where you live, and as long as you don't mind that. But well, maybe over the next couple of weeks, we could experiment with a late night group using Line and just see how that works. And, you know, the one thing that I'm not is, you know, except with trolls, I'm not a dictator. You guys know that. And I like to go with whatever makes the most sense. And I don't like to just dictate stuff, but of course with trolls it's, you know, block, block, block. But that's cool. So for those of you who just joined, I was battling some high blood pressure ever since I come back from the United States when I was there. And this is, now, Coco's asking, how do you get back in the group chat and Twitter? Coco, you're in your latest or your last account. You know, the one, I think you've only got like 6 followers. You know what I mean? Your Twitter account, that one is in the late night chat. I know it's in there because I added it. As soon as I found out the existence of it, you know, because you were DMing me, right? That one is in the late night group. Are you not seeing the messages? Anything like that, any issues like that, DM me later, and later tonight I will fix it. But yeah, I have not removed anybody ever from that group. People have left voluntarily, and in the case of Mike Rundgren, he left somehow or another. He was kicked out. I don't know how. I don't know why. And I can't add him back in. But I've never removed anybody. So yeah, no, Coco, you're in that group. Are you kidding me? You're like a founding member. Come on. You're like the cornerstone of the group, you know. What will we do without Coco in our group? First of all, we wouldn't have all those amazing cooking photos and the videos. I like how you just nonchalantly, you have been. You don't. Well, she changed accounts. Yeah, exactly. That's what we do. We would cry. But she changed accounts. I don't know why, but for some reason she changed accounts. The old account isn't there, but well, recently you posted some stuff though, right? Recently, I mean, when I mean recently, I mean like the last two weeks, you posted some stuff there, right? So is that Ken Ron? Hey Ken, how you doing? Oh, you didn't get the notification. Sorry about that. Hey Ken, sorry about that. Wow, that's too bad. But yeah, just the other day, what was it? Now I can't think. You posted something, and it just, I'm talking about Coco. You posted something, and what was it? It just looked, I'm drawing a blank. But I remember it looked amazing. Just like last week or something. I can see the frying pan. Why can't, never mind. Guys, help me out. No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay. You can change the topic all you want. Yes, thank you. Yes, the cobbler. And I was thinking, that'd be worth taking a dose of insulin to try to eat. Have some. Yes, the cobbler. Thank you very much. Everybody saw that. So that account is working. That account is there. Yes, it has been cold. It has. Yeah, see? So that account of Coco's is in that group, so. Oh, I see. All right, well, Coco, you and I will work it out. We'll figure it out. After I sign out tonight, when I go back to the house, I'll spend a few minutes and I'll see if I can figure out what's going on, okay? And we'll just, we gotta have you in the group. There's just no question about it. And also, for those of you who use Line, Coco is now online too. Also, now the great part that I like about Line groups is if you add a bunch of people to the group, they can search on the other members and add them if they want to their personal account too, which is cool. So I like that. All right, so let me get back to this because I was talking about this earlier. When I came back from the United States, actually when I arrived in the United States and I went to Dr. Sears, they gave me some really incredible like Star Trek medical scans. And yes, it is. It really is. And my blood pressure was sky high. It was crazy. But it turns out that it's a tachycardia, which means a high heart rate. It's a high heart rate issue, and it sympathetically makes my blood pressure up. So now that my heart rate, the control, heart rate is under control. So yeah, I want everybody to know that I do not have high blood pressure now. My heart rate is back under control. I went to my doctor on Monday. I parked my car at the parking lot. I walked 500 meters to his office. I registered, paid my money to see him, sat down for 10 minutes, went in his office, put the cuff on my arm, 120/76. I'm 62 years old. That's darn good. That's real good. Henry will tell you. Henry will tell you. So, the other thing too, is I've decided that I was drinking a little too much. Now you know me, I don't get drunk. I don't think it's right to get drunk. Thank you. And so, but it doesn't matter. I mean, you could drink every single day and not get drunk, right? You could drink it to your limit every single day, but so. I have not. I've had an MRI where you sit in the tunnel, but what I did have was, now this is really cool. They put me on what looked like a flatbed scanner. They had a table and a pillow. Put my head on the pillow, and I stripped down to my briefs and put a robe on. And they had this thing that come along like a scanner, like they're doing a fax. And it scanned my whole body and gave me a body composition test. It tested my bone density. It tested my BMI, body mass index. It told me the fat content of my limbs. It was amazing. I don't know if it would translate well, but I could hold the pages up, to the camera on the phone and show you. But it really was like a Star Trek scan where you're just sitting there and things just going. Takes 6 minutes to go from, like from your head down to your feet. But I got some really, really cool tests, and they sent my blood away to Europe, to I forget where, I think France, to measure the length of my telomeres on my DNA, on my DNA strands. So, holy cow! They used a computer and gave me cognitive tests, and I'm proud to say that even at my age, at least one of the cognitive tests, I was in the 97 percentile. Yeah. All right. Because I try to keep myself active and busy, and I try to read a lot, and I study things. And you guys know I'm a Bible reader, and I study the Bible. And there's a lot that, having to do with prophecy and things that are pretty deep. And so I try to keep myself active and not just watch TV. In fact, I don't watch that much TV. And when I do, it's usually science fiction. Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, Seinfeld. All right, so this is good. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Mark. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. The middle one? You mean the middle one that I just mentioned? The middle? I said Outer Limits. Twilight Zone, Seinfeld. Well, they're half an hour, but you guys take care. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. I've got this Android box. Actually, Henry put it onto me. Put me onto it, and the Outer Limits is incredible. It's an hour long. Last year sometime, Henry put me onto this Android box, And I finally found one, and the one that I found was like the generation after, the Mark IV, and it's an Android box. And man, you can get every movie channel you can think of, Star Movies, HBO, Cinemax, you just, you know, and every Discovery Channel and everything. And it all comes from Asia. And so, Food Channel Asia, just I'm having a blast with it. But it's got this one app that you can install, which I did, that Henry told me about, that has all these television shows. And I used to watch Frasier when I was younger. I would watch Frasier and Seinfeld. It's all on there. I've been catching up on The Outer Limits, because when I was a kid I used to love The Outer Limits, right? You guys know, like, that's like, you know, Coast to Coast with Art Bell. It's the same kind of genre of entertainment. And we've talked about